Download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Calling all wrestling fans to Pia's, your number one sports bar. Wednesday, August 28th, the Fan Bus will take you to the All Elite AEW event. Day and Piper broadcasting live from 3 to 5. In the 4 o'clock hour, they'll have a special guest, and the bus leaves at 5:45 for the AEW wrestling event. Wednesday, August 28th, you'll have a chance to win tickets to the big wrestling event. See you at Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
When it comes to finding a reliable vehicle, look no further than Sarah Champagne, your trusted automotive destination. They carry a lineup of top brands, including Honda, BMW, Subaru, GMC, and Buick. And they're not just about cars, they're about people. Their team is dedicated to providing you with trustworthy service and dependable vehicles that fit your lifestyle. Experience the difference at Sarah Champagne. Visit Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
Looking for the perfect pair of boots? Come on down to Pard's Western Shop in Urbana. With an amazing selection that fits every style, Pard's has the perfect pair waiting for you the next time you're hitting the rodeo or stepping out in style. They've got great deals and sale prices on men's cowboy boots, girls' cowgirl boots, and kids' boots. And their friendly staff will make sure you leave with the boots you love. Pard's Western Shop, serving its customers with high-quality merchandise since 1968. Go see them today at 306 North Maple Street in Urbana.
Look at that. Look at it. A pile of junk, a stack of rubbish, some buckets of yuck. Are you tired of looking at it? 2 Minute Junk Truck is available for junk removal or dumpster rentals to get rid of your heap of muck, accumulations of dreck, and mountains of cast-offs. Go to 2minutejuncktruck.com and schedule your time. Let us help you make room for what matters most. 2minutejuncktruck.com for your junk removal and dumpster rentals.
Solar companies are on the rise, here today and gone tomorrow. Rector Solar and Roofing family roots back 4 generations, living and working in Central Illinois, with the goal to take the confusion out of replacing a roof or adding solar panels to your home or business. With all the incentives and rebates now available, solar is more affordable than ever. Let a knowledgeable representative take the worry and guesswork out of solar and get a free quote. Discover the Rector Factor for Solar. Call 217-281-7000 or visit rectorsolar.com.
Ladies, we have saved a day just for you. Mahomet Christian Church offers a welcoming invitation for each and every one of you to join our inspiring annual women's conference. This year, join us as we will introduce an incredible author, Grace Khachaturian, and her book, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. Register today as inspiration will be shared. Saturday, September 7th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Your ticket will cover all meals, sessions, and the golden opportunity to listen as Grace's journey will touch your heart and offer a beacon of hope. Mahomet Christian Church's annual women's conference. Get excited, get registered, and get ready for the author, Grace Khachaturian. Tickets are just $35 for the entire day's festivities, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Limited space is available, so sign up today. MahometChristian.org. MahometChristian.org.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign, Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
UPS driver on the road in Anna, Texas, northeast of Dallas, crashed his vehicle likely because he passed out while behind the wheel in the midst of triple-digit temperatures. The driver crashed off the highway, narrowly missing another vehicle. UPS dispatchers say they were in communication with him leading up to the wreck, as he reported feeling ill after working at least 6 hours. He was treated and released from the hospital. UPS drivers historically drove trucks with no AC, but recently agreements with the Teamsters, who represent drivers, mandated cooling gear and air-conditioned smaller vehicles. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Recapping stocks, the Dow finishing down about 61 points. The S&P and the NASDAQ also in the red, snapping an 8-day winning streak. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hey, what's up? It's The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Derek Piper.
Here we go.
Lon rocking the Cardinals hoodie.
Yeah.
Kind of like a short sleeve hoodie, right?
It's funny. I bought this thing, but I got fooled. Like when I looked at the picture, I thought I was getting one, and I ended up getting a different one. But this one's all right. I don't mind it. It's just not something I'd normally order, but what the heck?
I like it.
You know me, like
it's kind of that in between. Like you can feel in the mornings and the evenings that fall is on the way, and then you get in the middle of the day, it's like high 70s, 80s. It's been beautiful weather.
It's been incredible.
But it's kind of that mix of summer's still here,
yes,
and yet fall's on the way. So I think that's the perfect it's kind of playing both lanes of that.
If you're wondering what it looks like, look at any college baseball coach or assistant.
Right.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
They always cut off the hoodie. This isn't cut off, but it's
not
so
Bill
funny.
Belichick.
Right. Every visit we've been to, like with Andrew, every time we always meet with the pitching coach first, right? And then we go visit with the head coach. The pitching coach, it can be 130 degrees out, and they have like a hoodie pullover on. And I sat there and I started laughing to myself. I'm like, man, I was meant to coach baseball, I guess. Because you know me, I'm always a little bit worried about my gut. Not like a hoodie hides that. For some reason, I think it hides it. So I'm like, if I wear this hoodie, people will think I'm skinny. So here we go. But yeah, I'm not wearing it proudly. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I'd like to sit here and say it's a big series against Milwaukee coming in, but double-digit games out of first, still technically in the wild card hunt.
Hey, we can get to within 7 or 8 of Milwaukee if we'd sweep them.
Would have to be a memorable September. Maybe we could bring Mike Schilt back for like that 18-game winning streak. Oh wait, no, can't do that. But
it started before all that, didn't it? And by the way, we're not going to go down a rabbit hole of Cardinals baseball.
We're not.
But
no.
Did it start? It started before the Schilt mess, but certainly that didn't help. When he won, didn't he win Manager of the Year?
He did, and then was fired the next year.
Yeah, and then fired the next year. So that makes a lot of sense. If that doesn't show you how off-key and off-kilter, if you will, management, and everything points right to Mozeliak and Gersh if he does anything. If that doesn't show you right there how out of tune they are with things, that should tell you. But, of course, it all boiled down to a hitting coach that's not even here now. I don't know, Derek. Let's don't even talk about
Have you seen the Twitter
that.
stuff of Dylan Carlson?
Oh, no. I saw
he had a walk-off.
Yeah. Well, good for him.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Now, if you are telling me, now listen, because I see these, and I always love how everybody responds, well, you can tell that we're not developing players. If Dylan Carlson can't figure out how to develop himself as a Major League Baseball player, then I'm sorry. You've got issues, right? He's a kid that skipped college. His dad basically groomed him growing up, and they decided they were ready for Major League Baseball, and certainly by draft process they were. But then he's done nothing since, right? And so I love how everybody all the fans assume that there is somebody within each organization that is developing Dylan. Like, for instance, like all of a sudden Tampa Bay's got a guy that's like, oh, well, here's what you're doing wrong. Your thumb is just in the wrong spot. And the next thing you know, he hits all these home runs. It's not that easy, right? Dylan Carlson.
It's like every advertising video for a golf instructor or like some kind of swing tip.
Stop your slice with this tip.
With this 30-minute DVD.
Right before they get to it, they're like,
maybe those
if
work.
You call
I don't
now.
know.
Yeah. I don't golf enough anymore because otherwise I would be spending the money on that.
If you call now, 50 balls in a bucket for the ones you don't hit straight.
Every area local golf pro is like, why would you do that? Why don't you just give me a call, get one lesson, and I'll figure you out?
Maybe it is that simple.
It really, I think it is.
But yeah, like Paul DeYoung's hit 21 home runs. That would be leading the Cardinals this year, which
that's unreal.
I hate to see that stat. Do I miss Paul DeYoung? No.
No.
Do I miss Dylan Carlson? Zero. Don't miss Jack Flaherty.
No.
It is interesting, though, that a lot of guys now, and I think it's to the point of now we are down the rabbit hole. We said we weren't going.
I know, here we are.
I kind of pushed us down there. We don't have a ton new. I mean, we're going to hit some Illini football training camp. It's to that point where we need a game so bad. Because we kind of covered every angle of it. Jay Lehman did a great job yesterday.
Oh.
But, yeah, like
but you're right. It
for
is
O'Neal to have that year that he's
Exactly.
having, and just, of course, we know and been over the Adolis Garcia, the Randy Arozarena,
right.
There are too many examples now where it's like, what's up? Is there something going on with player development? Is there something going on with coaching? Is there something going on with making the right choices on certain guys? I'm not worried about the latter, like kind of the, they should have kept Carlson. They should have kept DeYoung, those type of things. I'm not worried about that, but
I'll argue one way.
Okay.
Adolis Garcia is like Lucas Bakken now. Is it Bakken or Bacon?
Bacon.
Isn't
it Bacon?
I don't know.
Lucan Baker, right?
Lucan Baker. Who am I? I don't even know who I'm throwing out.
I don't know who Lucas Bakken is.
I don't either.
He's a Russian boxer.
You know what? He's the guitarist for Scorpion.
I got you.
I'm kidding. But listen, that kid is setting all sorts of records for Memphis with home runs. They just won't bring him up. That was the case with Adolis. He was powering home runs.
Yeah, he was.
But the Cardinals wouldn't bring him up. So I don't know if you say that, like, I'm not meaning you. Like, in general, I don't know you can say that they weren't developing him if you truly believe that somebody is there developing him. I think it was just the chance. He didn't get the chance with the Cardinals.
Sure.
Kind of like Baker. Is it Luke? What is it?
Lucan Baker.
Yeah, Lucan Baker.
Randy Arozarena didn't get enough of a chance.
No, and then they traded him, for Matthew Liberatore, right?
Woo.
So, right, which didn't work out. But I think we saw what Arozarena could be, but they went ahead and said, all right, we'd rather have a number one lefty for the next 10 years that obviously has now turned into a bullpen piece. I mean, that's an issue in its own. I'm not saying that. So in terms of those two, I feel like they were still doing things like they did. Like Garcia didn't go to Texas to start hitting home runs. He was hitting home runs for Memphis. It's just the Cardinals didn't give him a chance. Now, again, that's a whole separate issue we can talk about.
And that's very different than Carlson being in the mix for the last 3 years in the outfield and never
doing nothing.
clicking.
And like literally not being able to hit a ball out of the infield and then getting to Tampa and hitting now 3 home runs.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing there. So
it's kind of like I had this thought today. He's kind of doing the revenge body thing. Like if you have a breakup and you're like surprised that it's like an ugly breakup. It's one that you thought, all right, early on, these two are going to be together for a long time. Yes. And then all of a sudden something goes wrong. And whether it's the male side of this or the female side of this, like, all of a sudden they're in great shape and you see them out and like your friend tells you like, oh, she looks really good, man. She's been in the gym. Like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, like that's what's supposed to happen.
Interesting.
Is it going to last? Like,
correct.
Is that going to be who Dylan Carlson is?
Yeah. Did he get too fat and sassy with the Cardinals?
I'm not saying that. You know where I
know
was
exactly
going.
where you're going. Where all of a sudden a guy will start. You'll see a guy 3 months later. He's been lifting, and it's like, dang,
he's cleaning his apartment.
Right. He never cleaned his.
You don't find like a month-old Crunchwrap Supreme under a cushion. Like, wow.
Or the female is
really changed.
Or the female is all of a sudden like doing 6 a.m. CrossFit, and you're like, where did that start? Yeah, there's some interesting things there, and certainly Carlson is in that mold. But yeah, I do blame the Cardinals for all of it. It's just I think Garcia was hitting home runs before, so it's not like he got to Texas and started hitting home runs. And Arozarena, while he wasn't doing what he did in Tampa that year, I mean, goodness, for like a year and a half, he just went nuts.
Especially in the postseason.
He was the biggest story in baseball, right? And it wasn't a lot of it, sure, was the fact that the Cardinals had traded him, but he also then just kind of like took the next step and really did some crazy things.
Well, he was the ALCS MVP, and when the Rays got to that World Series, he had in a postseason, didn't he set the record, or
I think so.
Was very close to it, the most home runs in a postseason?
Where's the David Ecksteins of life? Mm-hmm. Winning MVPs, winning cars for World Series MVPs.
Yeah.
I mean, where did he come from? Like, how many times did another organization say, well, he didn't do that for us? And, of course, he's doing it for the Cardinals. And now it's just that has ended abruptly. And now Milwaukee's that team. Like Milwaukee, everything they do turns to gold, it seems like.
If you could characterize where the Cardinals are at based on former shortstops, like the David Eckstein years were great. We're like living in Khalil Green.
That's a good goal. When you looked at him, you're like, boy, he's fast. He seems like he can hit. He's got all the makings. Yeah. He's almost a 5-tool guy.
Sure, I don't love his hair, but it doesn't matter.
Right. Did we trade him to San Diego?
Oh, he was from San Diego.
Oh, he was
from
San
Diego.
Okay. We're Khalil Green now. That's exactly right. Yeah, and then little Paul DeYoung. I mean, he just – but again, the one thing he did for the Cardinals was hit home runs.
Exactly.
He would hit 202, and he would strike out a ton, but he would get you 20 to 30 bombs, which he's doing now. But you just had to make a decision, like literally long term. Would you rather have him or Mason Wynn?
Oh, Mason Wynn is
not even close.
The
right?
guy that I'm most encouraged about currently on the team.
Yes.
Like, big picture.
Amen. There's no doubt. Jordan Walker will be the interesting.
Scott's weighing in on the Max Twin City Recycling text line
He's
right now.
why are you guys talking Cardinals
baseball?
baseball?
Well, he's beating the drum of some worried energy or feelings about will Jordan Walker be the next story of he's better elsewhere type of thing. Are the Cardinals messing up his development or not getting the most out of him, and will he be somebody that then clicks somewhere else?
Probably.
I do have questions about that whole process. Somebody that immediately went on a hit streak of 15, 16 to start his career when he starts on the big league roster. They send him down. They try to mess with his swing, his launch angle. He actually comes up last year and finishes the year pretty decently. I mean, we talk about back of a baseball card stats. I mean, didn't he hit like 270 last year as it finished out? I'd take that in a given year for a 21-year-old or whatever he was. This year is a different story, obviously, and even in Memphis, he wasn't. It took a while till when he first gets sent down. You're like, oh, in 2 weeks they'll be like, oh, he's tearing it up, and it'll be time to start the process of sending him back up. Well, 2 months went by, and he was not hitting home runs or anything like that.
I was calling for him to go down. Not that I was mad at him. I just said, I remember one guy was like, why would you send him down? I'm like, because he's your future. Like, I'd rather get him fixed now or let him figure it out now against AAA pitching as opposed to Major League Baseball pitching. But it took him forever to figure it out on the AAA side. And then now, of course, he's not really doing it. And, of course, they just now platoon him or something. It's just time.
It's a sad state.
Joel says it's 2 days in a row. It's a taste streak.
It is.
Tomorrow should be 3, and then we don't have a show Thursday and I will be here Friday. So technically,
we're not counting that as a.
This could be a mammoth streak.
That's right. If we're going Cal Ripken style, like it's an off day, so he could have been in the in the cold tub, no activity, but it doesn't hurt the games played streak. Yeah, exactly. We'll see how far that thing can stretch out.
Whew, it's going to be a long week. Oh, thank goodness we got Thursday off. I wouldn't know what to do.
To give you the actual stats to it, the Cardinals enter this week, as far as the series goes, 11 games back in Milwaukee. That ship has sailed. It's the largest lead of any division in the National League.
That's crazy.
Atlanta's 7 out of Philly, and you got the Padres sneaking up on the Dodgers, only 3 back of them. So, yeah. Wild card wise, 5 games out for the Cardinals. Cubs right behind them, and the Reds too. 5.5 out of the wild card. 61-63 is the overall record for the Cardinals. 61-64 for the Cubbies.
Well, I don't have any hope whatsoever due to, like I mentioned, this isn't just, you can't look at a team. And I think the Cubs are kind of well, the Cubs, though, you could definitely point to that bullpen. Like, they would be in such different shape right now if their bullpen wasn't so bad early on, especially.
What if they had an average closer?
Oh, my goodness.
Average.
Oh.
They finally DFA'd Hector Neris. They should have done that a month or so ago.
Big time. So, yeah, or if you gave him, like, even Helsley.
Well, if you gave
really
him a top
good
tier,
Helsley.
a top 10 closer.
They'd be within shouting distance in Milwaukee right now in the division. But
no doubt.
The Cardinals, it just seems like, you look at it and you're like, well, Monday they didn't hit, Tuesday they didn't pitch well, Wednesday they didn't pitch well, Thursday they didn't hit, and then Friday the bullpen blew it. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, there's not.
Yeah, you can't pick one player and be like, oh, they'd be good.
Except for Mo and Ollie. I just am ready for a fresh start. And that's what you need. Although Mo, I think, is back next year, which means Ollie will be back next year. Are you at all excited next year if those two are back and just running the organization?
No, and I'd like to sit here and say I won't watch a game until those guys are fired, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. There will be a ton of angry fans, deservingly so, barring some kind of miraculous turnaround here in the final month or so of the season, if either one of them is back.
I agree. What can the Cubs do this in the offseason? I mean, obviously, shore up the bullpen, right? Yep. That would be number one. Mm-hmm. You like Pete Crow Armstrong, especially, it seems like ever since that Cardinals series, when he called out Miles on the ball. I mean, he's been on a tear, and he's a kid that you obviously look at in the outfield and say, look, you team him with Seiya Suzuki, and you've got a pretty good outfield working out there. And, probably upgrade the catching position.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then bullpen. I mean, you got to love the pitching at least the top of the rotation of that pitching. I mean, I guess if you were a Cubs fan, you would – now we will laugh at this, but you would say, why is Kyle Hendricks a starter? Now, I know he's not now, but why did we go into this season with Kyle Hendricks being a starter on this team? Now,
kind of like Waino last year.
Right. As a Cardinals fan, you're like, well, because he beats the Cardinals every time. But, there was a lot of bleeding going on with Kyle Hendricks last year too, where you're like, you can't count on him to be in this rotation. So as a Cubs fan, and I'm not speaking for them, I'm a Cardinals fan, but I would be like, what are we doing starting a season with Kyle Hendricks? Are we just praying that, like you said, with Waino, are we just hoping that he's got one more year in him, and then now, of course, they've sent him to the bullpen. So there's little things, obviously. I think the Cubs could get better in a hurry. And I'm actually more disappointed, I think, in the Cubs season than I am the Cardinals season. Now, I'm disappointed in both. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't know that the Cardinals had gained that much traction just by signing these 40-something pitchers with Gray and Lynn and Gibby. I didn't think they'd gained that much traction that they should run away with this division. The Cubs, I thought, were in pretty good shape. But obviously, again, that bullpen really did them in early on. And once you get a hole, and Milwaukee, to their credit, has just not let anybody – they haven't let anybody in. I mean, they haven't given anybody a chance in this division. They stormed out, and now they have just exceeded expectations. I know I read a quote the other day from Christian Yelich that basically he's like, we loved it. We got to the All-Star break, and people still were doubting us. And he's like, so I just kept telling the team, hey, we're playing with free money, house money. Like, nobody expects us to do anything. Let's just keep going out and doing our thing. And they're getting great production out of everything. I mean, the injuries that they had on the pitching side.
Yeah.
And didn't they trade?
Well, isn't Yelich hurt now too?
Oh, is
Yelich
he now hurt?
Been out.
He's been out for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But, early on, he was really good. And, well, who else
is out for the
is hurt?
season.
Oh, he's out for the season. I didn't know that.
And watch, they'll still win the division by double-digit games.
My goodness, they're up, 11?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's they've done their part. I hate that to hear that with Yelich. Man, that's a kid that without injuries, you wonder where he would end up in the grand scheme of things. He was really good when he was young. I mean, he was MVP, I believe, the one year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then he started having back issues, I believe, which, I mean, I don't care if you're picking up the garbage in the morning or if you're like an insurance salesman or if you're a Major League Baseball player. If you got a hurt back, it's going to affect anything you do. I can't imagine being an athlete with that. So I just hate to see all the injuries for Christian Yelich because that kid is one that seemed like had just a meteoric possibility for his career. And he still had a good career, don't get me wrong. But I don't know, is he old? It seems like he's been around forever, but he's probably only
around
like
a while. I mean,
he's probably like 25.
Doesn't look like he's aged at all. I'd have to look.
I kid. I know he's not. But Scott, where were you watching a game? No idea the channel. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Bally's out of bankruptcy or something. I don't know. Dan Caesar or Cesar or whatever it is, every once in a while at Post-Dispatch has a little write-up on what's going on with TV and the Cardinals, but it's weird.
32 years old for Christian Yelich.
32. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
man, they trade Josh Hader. They trade Corbin Burns. They let Brandon Woodruff walk in free agency. And he's hurt this year. Yelich has been injured, was healthy this year, having a really good year, now out for the season, and they're 11 games up.
That's crazy. Contreras has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been really good.
He's been unbelievable for them. Is he still in contention for like MVP or is he cool? I mean, how can you beat Shohei out, right? Is Shohei the guy now? I mean, he's got what, like 40 bombs almost?
Pull up the old FanDuel here to see the odds.
You know what was weird, too, while you're doing that? When the Cardinals were playing the Dodgers, I tuned in to watch a game, and Ohtani was at the plate, and Sonny Gray battled him hard, and I think he lined out or something. But somebody mentioned, like one of the announcers is like, and Ohtani fully, believes he will be pitching for the Dodgers next year. I had literally forgotten. I had let myself forget that he also could be a Cy Young winner.
Yep.
And, when he was with the Angels, and I always say it's a little bit of the playing it at 9 o'clock at night. I don't see a lot of Angels games. You don't see a lot of Angels games around here anyway, right? So, and it's not like they were any good even with him and Trout. So it's not like they were on, game of the week that often either. So you had all these combinations of, I just read about Shohei Ohtani and would see highlights and what amazing, what an amazing job he did. But I don't think we will understand the scope of how good he is. And I say we like as in National League people until he's pitching next year and hitting 40 home runs.
Right.
I mean, that's just going to be, I assume, do they bat him when he pitches?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if the Angels at the time decided, well, let's go ahead and treat him like a pitcher today and not make him swing the bat and run the bases. But my goodness.
No, let's see if he hits a home run and strikes out 12. This year.
Hello, Babe Ruth.
For the year that Aaron Judge has had, FanDuel says that Ohtani is like 3 times more likely to win the NL MVP right now versus Judge in the AL. I mean, it says more about the competition, I think, in the AL.
I got you.
Because Bobby Witt Jr. is I wouldn't say on Judge's heels, but he's still technically in the mix. You're talking about minus 1450 for Judge. So that one
I totally
is thought to be done.
Right.
And that's the AL.
Yeah, that's American League.
The NL, Shohei is minus 6,000. So you have to bet $6,000 to win 100. That sounds like a bad investment.
Let's each throw in 3,000. Let's do it today.
And then we'll split the 100.
Yeah.
Marcelo Zuna is plus 1,500. He's the only one in the stratosphere. But if you look at Shohei's numbers, I mean, he's batting .290, 39 home runs, OPS of 989. He's had a crazy year, and he's not even pitching.
How does the baseball, since you have it pulled up, and we can even take a break if you want. I don't know if you want to continue to talk baseball, but give me you mentioned the National League. Where are we at in the American League? We're kind of getting nitty-gritty here. I know the Cardinals and Cubs kind of being out of it loses the luster.
Yeah, there's pennant chases going on. There's jockeying for position in wild card and all of that. By the way, Judge is hitting .331 with 44 home runs, 111 RBIs, and an OPS of 1166.
Holy smoke.
That's ridiculous.
Should he be allowed to play? He's built so much different than everybody else. It's what is he, 6'8"?
He's in that ballpark.
I don't think he's that
6'7", 282.
Gee, money. Think about that. He's 6'7". Think about the tallest person you know. Just anybody, any listener. The tallest person you know, and then probably add 3 inches, and that dude is hitting 44 home runs in Major League Baseball. He's turning on 100-mile-an-hour fastballs at 6'7", 282.
280.
Could you construct if you wanted to construct an athlete in today's day and age, would it look more like LeBron? Would it look more like Aaron Judge?
Well, I mean, they're probably
I know it depends
similar,
on
right?
What would LeBron? Is LeBron 6'8", 6'9"?
No, he's in that range. He's not going to be 280, I wouldn't imagine. He's probably more than 250.
LeBron always looks like the biggest dude on the court.
He's 6'9", 250.
Gee, money. All right, and Judge is 6'7", 280.
I can't believe he's 280.
See, back in the 80s, you didn't have anybody that was 6'7", 280. I can promise you that. If they were 6'7", they were 180.
Right.
They weren't 280. So
that's insane.
It's crazy. Now, and I've always said this, in 20 years, when I'm 74 and still going strong, I hope, what is the average athlete going to look like? I know Aaron Judge is not the average Major League Baseball player, but are you going to have some 7'4", 300-pound dude doing what Aaron Judge is doing? And you're just like, what? That makes no sense.
We just had some interesting news get sent in via the Cardinals roster moves.
Oh.
Matt Carpenter has been activated from the 10-day IL. Yay. Luken Baker has been recalled from Memphis, so they're sending him up. Guess who's going to Memphis?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Walker has been optioned to Memphis,
wow.
And Brandon Crawford's been granted his unconditional release.
Boy, who in here didn't think Brandon Crawford was not going to?
That's crazy, man. The 40-year-old shortstop that he didn't make it through a full year.
That's crazy, yeah.
I'm glad that we're activating Carpenter so that Jordan can go back to the minors.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Makes a lot of sense. Maybe we're facing a lot of righties coming up here. Nothing makes sense anymore.
Yeah.
Who makes those decisions? Is that Gersh?
It's probably Mozeliak.
Is that Mozeliak? Is that Ollie? Is it all of the above?
Yeah. I'm sure Ollie has some input on that.
Oh, boy.
I'd rather be an AL fan. Look at these races here. The Yankees are in first place by only a half a game over the Orioles.
Oh, wow.
The Yankees have the best record in the American League at 73-52, but the Orioles 73-53. The Red Sox in the mix there for the wild card. They're 4.5 back of the wild card, 7.5 back of the Yankees in the AL East. So you got 3 teams in the hunt there. Really a 2-team race at the top, and the Red Sox trying to get it in the postseason on a wild card berth. The Guardians 72-52. The Royals only 2.5 back of them, and same with the Twins.
Wow.
At 70-55. That's a good division at the top. The White Sox still at the bottom at 30-96. I swear every time I see their record, I'm like, that's not real. And then in the West, the Astros, very slow starting this year.
Yes.
But, oh my gosh, shocker. They're at the top of the division, 68-56.
Are they really?
They've won 9 of the last 10. They've caught fire. The Mariners 5 games out of them. The Rangers pretty well done this year.
Yeah.
They're 58-68. They're 11 games back.
Boy,
So
did they make a gross turn.
Yeah. Year after winning the whole thing. A lot of injuries for them.
We live in today, right? So especially when you get as old as me, you can't remember last year. Was it this wide-ranging last year? I know you just mentioned, like, at least the AL East is kind of close. It never seemed like, when I use in quotes here, growing up, that divisions, you didn't have at least 2 teams battling for a division title. And now, I mean, it's like every division just seems to be, you can call it on, like, July 15th. Mm-hmm. Like, Brewers are going to win this. Philadelphia is going to win the East. Dodgers are going to win the West. I know you mentioned the Padres making hay there, but it just seems like, I don't know. It seemed like every division usually had a pretty good battle going. But then again, when I was growing up, you only had like so many divisions.
Right.
I mean, the Cardinals and Mets were in the same division.
That's weird.
That is weird.
I do remember a lot of years in the Central, it seemed to go down to the final month. But seemingly, and maybe I'm just, I don't know, attaching to most years, but like it seems the Dodgers have been the pick in the West, like pretty clearly.
Yep.
Because the Padres they've been aggressive in building their roster, but maybe they haven't reached that point where they're actually contending for that division, although they are this year, and the Diamondbacks are right on the heels of the D-backs are there with the Padres and the Dodgers, and then the East. That's been one where
it's either been Atlanta or Philly, right? Although the Nationals had a run.
Yeah, prior to breaking that thing up.
Who's the 4th team in the East? And am I forgetting somebody? Or are they just always bad?
The Marlins are always bad.
Oh, Marlins. Okay, yeah never mind. Back with Jeff Conine and such.
Yeah, but you've actually got some races in the American League,
true.
And then obviously the NL West as well.
Heath mentioned on the Max Twin City Recycling text line, Judge's numbers are like Pujols, and that's exactly what they are. Now, I don't know that Pujols would ever go for 50 home runs, but he would have 35 to 40 home runs, 130 ribbies, and hit 330.
Yeah,
every year. Every year for 11 years.
He would reach the 40s, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
did he ever get to 50 in home runs? I don't think.
He did not. His most home runs in a season, 49.
49, okay. So
that was 06. But he would hit. That's a good point, especially when you blend the average and the power.
Yes.
He was always in the 330s, seemingly, especially in his prime. But home runs per, if you go through his first, that first 8 seasons for him, that window was comparable to anything that anybody's ever done in baseball. 37 home runs, 34, 43, 46, 41, 49, 32, 37, 47, 42.
Man. And what were his averages?
329, 314, 359, 331, 330, 331, 327, 357, 327. That's insane, man.
He could arguably be the best player I've ever seen. Now, and I've seen Barry Bonds.
I was going to bring him up. He's obviously got to be in there.
But, I don't know if Pujols had the same help that Bonds had. I don't know. But Bonds was unbelievable even before that.
Mm-hmm.
It is and you know what they both have? And not especially Pujols, because Bonds had it too. They had the clutch gene, right?
Yep.
It wasn't the Lars Nootbaar finally homers and nobody is on base. Shocking.
Take that, Lars.
I don't know why I'm dogging Lars. I mean, he doesn't seem to be anybody that should be dogged, should he? He can't stay healthy. Like, everybody just loves Lars Nootbaar. Like, there's this love affair nationally with Lars Nootbaar, and I'm like, he's just not that good.
There's, in terms of, like, the vibe he gives off, like, it gives off a likable vibe.
He does. He really does.
It's not like a Flaherty vibe where, like,
right.
It's very smug and, like, I get why. It's easy to trash on you because you're just an unlikable character.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. I mean, Nootbaar is always fun. And when somebody else homers, he's the first guy, like jumping on the dugout, just excited. And
yeah.
So I'm sure he's great for the team, and I want to see him succeed. But I've got this weird fascination with not liking him. And it's weird to me.
Because it might be overly positive. There might be just the thinking that he's more than he is.
Right.
And I remember back in the offseason, he's like, he's working those Japan connections. Ohtani in free agency, Yamamoto. What did we get out of that? Nothing. When the next guy comes up, Suzuki, he'll be here and probably next year. Yeah, he's not coming to St. Louis.
No. I don't know. It's
might be able to hit up Kosuke Fukudome.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. I mean, there'll never be another
Hideki Matsui,
right? Oh, yeah, that's true. So Taguchi.
Yeah.
Didn't he wear 99 or something?
I think so, yeah.
He had some clutch genes to him.
Range in the outfield. He had a big home run in that Mets series.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that dude was your fourth outfielder, and every once in a while he'd get that spot start and give you 2 hits, come in and play good defense. Where are the David Eckstein, So Taguchi
Scott
days?
Spizios.
Oh, my. With the red, not beard, but what do you call that?
Little, like, soul patch.
Yeah, a little soul patch, a little red soul patch. I don't know. Dan, I swear Cardinals outfielders more injured than running backs in football. It does seem that way.
I'll give you $100. Can you grow a soul patch?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I can't do any.
Yeah, I'm a terrible.
I mean, I don't shave for
grower.
a week, and all it does is somebody will be like, you need to shave, dude. It's not like I've got some cool beard like I'm some mountain man in Wyoming. It's just they just look at me and they're like
stubble.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
I was gonna offer you like $100 to do a orange soul patch first tailgate. It's like, what's up, guy? Don't like say anything about it.
No, just show up.
Just show up.
Yeah, I can't get there anyway.
Right.
So it won't matter. That tailgate's coming up.
Man, yeah, it is.
Week from Thursday.
Probably got enough before we catch a break, which we're very much due for. I want to see what the current weather projection is for Thursday of next week.
It's going to be perfect, isn't it? It's going to be like
sunny, high of 83, low of 67.
I mean, that's a little warm, but come on.
A little warm on the high, but sitting there as it gets into the evening, sunset area, and then it's going to be obviously 8 p.m. kick.
It'd be like today, like right now. Well, like it was earlier this morning. I heard
perfect weather to bring it full circle.
Yes,
perfect weather for a short sleeve hoodie.
Boom, which is just what Lon needs. That's exactly what I need. I need to get. Well, Illinois does not. Nobody in college, I don't think, sells. I asked our guy at game day. I've asked him 100 times. I'm like, can you just make me a 3/4 zip Illinois pullover? Mm-hmm. I'm like, guys like me would wear that stuff. I need to bug Hartlub because I guarantee you he's got one. I guarantee the baseball team has the 3/4 zip.
Oh, I'm sure they do, yeah.
So I might have to – that or I might just have to take my orange hoodie and just cut off the sleeves. What do you think of that?
Belichick.
Go with the Belichick look. That would be hilarious. No, I did hear Greg Soye this morning on Stevie and Diane say that it's going to get hot. We're going to get hot again here coming up on the weekend. So, hey, that's all right. Usually the first couple of tailgates are warm.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's almost too hot. And then you get beautiful for like 2 of the middle like that Purdue game. will be like beautiful probably. And then what would be the next home game after that? Is that Michigan? Like Michigan will be a perfect day. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the year, you're starting to get really cold. But Illinois, the last 2 games of the year, on the road this year.
Right.
So they
at Rutgers, Wrigley Field,
Yeah. So they finish home games kind of early. So we should have good weather throughout.
I agree.
On this thing. Yeah.
Someone needs to bring the Belichick look back because the current Belichick look is shirtless on a ring cam.
At a 24-year-old's house.
Yeah.
I mean,
good for you, man.
Or is he leaving? I can't remember.
I think he's leaving.
He's leaving.
He has been there. Yeah. If you want to win, you can. 217-359-2255 on the Max Twin City Recycling text line. We will talk some Illini football as we go along. Maybe play a little training camp audio, get you the latest from what's going on over there at the Smith Center. I promise that's the final Cardinals rabbit hole.
Yes.
Scott said we went down the Cardinals rabbit hole. We did.
Can I tell you my old man anger story?
Yeah.
When I come back?
Sure.
I think a lot of people will listen and they'll be like, yeah, amen, Lon.
Okay.
To me, it just speaks about what society is now.
Are we getting deep?
No, not really.
No,
it's
we're getting real.
It's just kind of the lack of respect it seems like people have in society now. And I saw it firsthand on a rare trip to Champaign. And I saw it firsthand. What day was that? Doesn't matter. It was this weekend. And I just was sitting there going, this just annoys me to no end. So I'll fill you in on it.
Yeah, let's do that. And one more thing we're going to do. Illinois basketball came out with their official non-conference schedule. We've been pretty in tune with the marquee opponents. You got the full non-con slate that was released today. We'll get you that as we go along. So lots still to do. Stick around for that. Lon gets angry next. That is the drive.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Ow! A spring just hit me.
Mom, the couch is broken again.
It's about time we get rid of that clunky couch and look into buying a new one.
What about Two Men in a Junk Truck? Their professional moving team does a great job assisting with downsizing, home renovations, and clearing out old items you need hauled away.
Wow, it sounds like it'll make much more space in this house once the couch is hauled away.
I just pulled it up on my phone. You can schedule an appointment online at twomeninajuncktruck.com.
Solar companies are on the rise, here today and gone tomorrow. Rector Solar and Roofing family roots back 4 generations, living and working in Central Illinois, with the goal to take the confusion out of replacing a roof or adding solar panels to your home or business. With all the incentives and rebates now available, solar is more affordable than ever. Let a knowledgeable representative take the worry and guesswork out of solar and get a free quote. Discover the Rector Factor for solar. Call 217-281-7000 or visit rectorsolar.com.
Ladies, we have saved a day just for you. Mahomet Christian Church offers a welcoming invitation for each and every one of you to join our inspiring annual women's conference. This year, join us as we will introduce an incredible author, Grace Khachaturian, and her book, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. Register today as inspiration will be shared. Saturday, September 7th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Your ticket will cover all meals, sessions, and the golden opportunity to listen as Grace's journey will touch your heart and offer a beacon of hope. Mahomet Christian Church's annual women's conference. Get excited, get registered, and get ready for the author, Grace Kachaturian. Tickets are just $35 for the entire day's festivities, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Limited space is available, so sign up today. MahometChristian.org. MahometChristian.org.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Story time for Lon.
Did we talk about our fantasy draft on the air?
I don't think we did, no.
I don't think we did either.
You felt really good about your draft.
I do. I ended up with the number one pick. We just draw randomly that day. So I had to take McCaffrey, right?
Of course.
And so then we only have 8 guys, remember. So this is like, people are like, wait a minute, how did you get that guy in the 8th round? It's like, well, we only have 8 guys. But yeah, I ended up with like McCaffrey and ETN as my running backs, with Chubb as my third.
I like that pick.
C.J. Stroud as my starting quarterback. I took Caleb Williams with my second pick. That's tricky, but I know you love it.
As your second quarterback. I think that's fantastic.
I've got Pittman Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. as my 2 wide receivers, with Stephon Diggs third, which I think he could have a good connection with Stroud. And then I've got Sam Laporta as my tight end. So on the
team's loaded, man.
On the snake side of it, I came back with, because first of all, you take McCaffrey and then you might as well just go and get your truck washed, maybe order a pizza, do all this, and then you come back, you're like, is it my pick? Not yet. There's 3 more. I'm like, okay. So that's where I went with ETN, and then I was like, you know what? I probably should do a receiver, but Laporta was there, and I'm like, I'm jumping it. I'm taking the tight end. Every time I've won the league in the last 10 years, which is like 3 times, I've had a great tight end. I had Kelsey a couple of times. So to me, I could be completely different than anybody else. To me, you have to have that tight end to make a dent, especially in our league. But then I took Laporta and ETN, and I'm sitting there going, oh, man, I got to wait another 3 hours before I get a receiver. But I had my eyes on Pittman Jr. I like him for the Colts. And last year, Richardson, when he was healthy, all he did was look to throw to Pittman. So I'm hoping that's the thing. And then I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have a pretty good year. I think he and Kyler are going to connect.
Harrison's got to be as polished as any receiver coming into the NFL, I would imagine.
Would agree. And he's going to get chances.
Of course.
Michael Wilson's good. Greg Dortch is decent. Trey McBride, we know, is good. I mean, the Cardinals have a pretty good offense. If Kyler stays healthy and Marvin stays healthy, I think those two will have – I think that'll be a pretty cool storyline to follow.
So mine was an auction draft, and I wanted Kyler Murray. His price went a little higher than what I could afford or what was willing to pay at the time.
Makes sense.
I ended up with Trevor Lawrence and Aaron Rodgers as my 2 quarterbacks. And
I don't mind that.
We're in a super flex league, so 2 quarterbacks are starting within your roster.
Got it.
I'm banking on Aaron. I just don't – I know people are – even Brad Evans, that was his draft, said, hey, the Jets are going to run the ball a lot, so I don't know about that Rodgers pick. I just can't get past him not having one more just splash year.
I'm with you. especially after being injured last year. It's like he's wanting to prove to the Jets fans and everybody that he's not done.
Garrett Wilson's a really good receiver. Yes, he was one of my keepers. They brought in Mike Williams, who, when healthy, can be a downfield threat, a red zone guy. So
Brees worries you a little, right?
In terms of stealing some workload and touchdowns,
But how about the dump off to Brees? That gets you points, right?
I like that. So I think Rodgers is in for a good year. My highest priced addition, Derrick Henry. I think that's a match made in heaven. The Ravens and how they want to run the ball. The fact that you can't really cheat one way or the other. Like, obviously, Lamar can pull it out of the belly and run to the sideline to turn that corner, and Henry in between the tackles can wear you out. So maybe they keep him a little bit fresher because Lamar – some of the talk is of, well, Lamar's going to steal carries from him, so his workload might go down. Well – maybe Henry's
might not be a bad idea.
More fresh than he's ever been, and I think touchdown-wise could put up a huge number there.
Because he's 30-plus now, right? He's over age 30, and that is always a little dangerous with a running back, obviously. So, but I still like Derrick Henry. I think he's going to have a big year.
No doubt. I love my receivers and my favorite part of my team. I mentioned keeping Wilson. I added Jalen Waddle. Also got Chris Godwin.
Nice.
Who's just super solid. I think now
every year.
Baker certainly wasn't a game manager. He was slinging it around last year in Tampa. Got Jaden Reed from Green Bay. And Hollywood Brown is kind of a later round snag that, hey, somebody's got to click there with Mahomes and KC, downfield threat. I know a lot of people high on Xavier Worthy, the rookie out of Texas. I wanted him, but kind of my consolation prize, I thought, was Hollywood Brown. When healthy, maybe he's
I was going to say, I mean, the 4 weeks he's healthy. He's
be
dynamite for you. You just have to figure out what 4 weeks.
That's kind of like that's what Deshaun Jackson turned into.
Yes.
Remember, like,
oh my gosh,
the Eagles.
With the Eagles.
Of course, he had some stellar years, but then on the latter portion of the downhill slope was like when he's healthy for 4 to 6 games this year, he'll be insane. But then everything else, he'll be on the shelf for. So
I like that team.
We'll see. Yeah,
I like that team a lot.
I really wanted Justin Fields, which shocker, right? When you've got all right, I know you got to get your story.
For punt returns or what? What are we talking about?
You get me every time with that. 14 teams, 2 starting quarterbacks. You almost got to have some backup options. You almost got to take a backup quarterback or think about taking one. And I think he'll be the starter at some point.
I'm with you.
For Pittsburgh. So ultimately, Brad Evans outbid me for him. I was a little bummed.
Did he really?
Yeah.
By the way, does Brad Evans have the best man cave that's ever been known to man?
Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
I mean, he posted that story on Twitter about, like, did you go over early and swim and such?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I hung out with the kids as long as I could.
Yeah, which is good. But, man, Evans showed his ceiling in the man cave is just incredible. I'm like, how did he even come up with that idea?
Yeah.
It's impressive.
He's got a nice setup over there.
He's got like an Illinois skateboard.
Yeah, he
does.
Did
you see that?
On the wall, yep.
So, all right, I'll tell you my quick anger story.
Yep.
So I have to go to Champaign. I'm not going to say anything about the stores because it had nothing to do with the stores, if you will. And I don't want to give free publicity to these 2 stores because they're national chains and you know there's no advertising dollars here on that. So I'm up there and first of all I pull into the first store and no big deal. This is no skin off my back. None of this affected me at all. It just told me what I'm looking at now in society. And it really worries me. Honestly, I'm being dead serious. It worries me how we have just gone downhill as a society. First of all, I pull into my parking spot, and, you know, I've got a pretty big truck. So I have to really, like, finagle to make sure I'm in between the lines, and I still haven't mastered that thing after a year. I'm still backing up. And so I pull in, trying very, very, you know, observant, in other words, of just trying to not go across the line and take up more than 2 spots. I pull up, and there's a guy right in front of me. He's, like, looking at me in his car. He is taking 2 spots and not caring one bit about it, right? And all he's doing is just, I don't know if he's waiting on somebody at this place, but all he's doing is just staring at his phone. And I just kind of pull up, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And it's pretty close to the store. So, like, my mom now is 84 years old, and she's better shape than I am. But, you know, it's nice she wouldn't mind finding a spot closer to a place, right? Mm-hmm. So this guy has zero regard for anybody to you know, make sure that they get a spot as well that's fairly close. He's taken up 2 spots. And he's just staring at his phone. So I'm like staring holes through him, hoping he'll look at me, because I was literally going to be like, dude, you're way off on the line. Like, that's my passive aggressive. Like, hey, I know you didn't mean to do this, but you're way off here, right? So I don't say a word. I go in. I've got a nice young man that helps me inside. We figure things out. I come back out. That dude's still sitting there. And he won't look up, right? So I'm like, whatever. So I get in my truck and I just lay on the horn. I give the and it scares him. He almost like loses his phone and looks up and he doesn't know who honked. And I'm just staring right at him and he won't look at me. And then he just looks back down at his phone again and I'm like, you know what, you, buddy. So I pull out, I go to the next store, right? I'm in the store. I get what I need. I go up. There's a couple in front of me, and you know those red like baskets you grab at like I'm not in a grocery store, but let's say you're in a grocery store. Instead of the big cart, you just grab those little, and they're usually red for some reason. Is there a reason for that, I wonder?
Maybe easy to find.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. It's like a bowl going at it. So the lady in front of me has items in her bag, and the lady checking out is like, first of all, she's the only counter open, and there's 14 people just milling around doing nothing. And I'm like, look, we got 20 people in line here. Can somebody man a register? So that's already my blood's boiling because of this dude in this car. So finally, I'm second in line, and the lady goes, do you mind taking the stuff out of your basket? It helps me. Because, you know, and this lady that had the stuff in the basket is like, that's what she does, right? So I'm like, really? You know, so I'm like sitting there to myself going, really? I mean, is this, you really, that's so hard. So then after the lady's like, you know, dinging in all of her stuff, the lady walks over to where the baskets are, right? The basket that is on top has a lid or has one of the handles that is over to the middle. Instead of just lifting the handle over and then placing the basket all the way in, right? So it's uniform in. No, she just sets it on top, so now it's tilted. And I'm standing there at the line, and I'm just like, I cannot stand this. So I walk past her as she's walking back, and I fix the basket. So then as I'm getting back, she's leaving, and I'm like, hey, I fixed your basket. And she's like, huh? And I'm like, well, you didn't have it. And I'm like, never mind. So I go up to the lady, and I'm paying it, and I said, you know what? I looked at the lady, and I'm like, I don't think I can stand our society anymore. And the lady is like, oh, if you dealt what I dealt with every day. And I'm like, she goes, you should see how many people get upset because I make them take stuff out. Now, they're not carrying like 500-pound things out of this basket, right? I mean, what are you going to put in
a shampoo bottle?
Right,
yeah.
Right. So she said, if you saw what I see on a daily basis, and I'm like, I said, I don't know. So I stay in my little cubby hole of life and just do the things I want to do. I was just so, I don't know, Derek. Like, I'm old man angry now. And, of course, you know what my boys would say is, why do you say anything? Why would you honk? What if that guy's going to get pissed, you know, whatever, and come at, or he's got whatever?
Unfortunately, Champaign, there's been that incident.
There has. So I'm
a
just
year
like,
or so ago.
I'm like, well, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care, you know? So I don't know. I just got frustrated, and I was just like, I don't know. And the lady at the second one, as I leave, I'm like, well, thank you for everything you do. And she's like, well, listen, thank you for caring as well. I'm like, I said, you and I will give it our best shot, right? She's like, that's all we can do. So I don't know. There's my angry story.
I get it.
It's just
we
little
need
things.
Someone like you to call people on it. Unfortunately, we are in a society too where
you don't know if you
there
want
is kind of the wild card of there can be a price to pay, I guess.
It was frustrating. So, but hey, you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect in life.
Yeah.
But I know that guy knew how he was parked. And I know that lady when she set that
throws
basket
his
in there.
phone in the air.
He did. I was laughing my butt off. I just gave the and my truck has a pretty good horn.
Man.
So I was like, well, there you go. I got him. So, you know,
you could have towed him away. He still wasn't going to look up.
No, I don't. I think seriously, I think you could have hooked onto the
him
back
up and just pulled him out of the spot.
All right, so I'm done with I'm done. That was
like it.
But other than that, then I just took a deep breath and drove home. I was like, okay, Lon. As my brother would always say, hey, change the world, Lon. Change the world one act at a time.
Yeah.
That's it. We'd be walking in Chicago, and I'd try to say hi to everybody. Everybody passed. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Finally, Lance is like, dude, people don't want to talk to you. And I agree.
It's true, but you see, now I live in we need a break.
I know we do.
Now that I'm in Mahomet, it's kind of more like the small town feel where like you wave at everybody that comes by.
Yep.
But then admittedly, and my wife calls me on this, if someone doesn't wave back or like stare straight through me, I get angry.
I know.
I don't like shout them out, but she can tell it bothers me. And now my son will start to wave at people as they go by, and like someone didn't wave at him, and she's like, "Oh, you're mad like your dad," when they look right through you.
I do it all the time because I usually have my hand on top. I'm not driver's ed perfect, and I just kind of give the wave to everybody.
Right.
And a lot of times, even small towns, they don't wave as much anymore. It's too bad.
Bothers me a little bit.
We're going downhill, people.
Yeah.
We're going downhill.
Just be nice. be nice. Be generous.
Yeah. And just understand.
Just do your job.
Right. Yeah. There's parking spots. Hit one. Just hit it. That's all you got to do. Hit it. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
And it's a basket. Just put it in.
Just put it in.
So it fits it perfect. What am I going to do when I put my basket in? Am I also going to tilt it? Anyway.
Okay.
All right. I'm done.
Well, appreciate your insight. We're due for a break. We'll talk some Illini football, hear from training camp before we get out of here, and talk some Illini basketball non-con schedule.
Yeah.
All that when we return. It is The Drive.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com.
It's Mahomet Music Festival, August 23rd and 24th, presented by Fisher National Bank. Enjoy the Lions Beer Garden with Bud Light, with local craft vendors and carnival rides. It all starts at 5, Friday, August 23rd. Get a VIP ticket for Tapman's Towing Tent, close to the stage, as you enjoy music from Lexi Teifel, Jake and Michaela. Then, on the State Farm stage at 9 o'clock, enjoy the Pearl Jam Tribute Band, Rear View. Saturday, August 24th at 9 a.m., take in a parade. At 11 a.m., the Christian band Cochran & Company performs on the Darwin-Boston State Farm Insurance stage. There will be 2 sessions for the arm bands from noon to 4 and 6 to 10 for those kiddos. Adults can enjoy the Bags Tournament. Music from Stefan Huffman, Drew Baldridge, then the headliner, Dylan Scott at 9 p.m. Learn more at MahometMusicFest.com. Since 1955, the University of Illinois Police Training Institute has been a leader in law enforcement training, standing out as one of the largest and longest-running academies in the United States. Operating on campus, PTI has trained tens of thousands of officers using research-based techniques and over 100 hours of scenario-based training focused on de-escalation and communication. Dedicated to integrity, respect, and service, PTI is shaping the future of policing. Learn more on Facebook, Instagram, or visit pti.illinois.edu. Solar companies are on the rise, here today and gone tomorrow. Rector Solar and Roofing family roots back 4 generations, living and working in Central Illinois, with the goal to take the confusion out of replacing a roof or adding solar panels to your home or business. With all the incentives and rebates now available, solar is more affordable than ever. Let a knowledgeable representative take the worry and guesswork out of solar and get a free quote. Discover the Rector Factor for solar. Call 217-281-7000 or visit rectorsolar.com.
It is The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. As the 217 says on the Max Twin City Recycling text line, what happened to Midwest Nice?
Right.
You know what's funny? I listened to, and maybe it's just the Ryan Russillo show in particular, but I feel like there's multiple instances of it.
I haven't heard his name.
I know.
I
right?
need to, does he still do a podcast?
Still does a podcast. Yeah.
Why am I not listening to him?
It's good, especially because a lot of his episodes have life advice at the end. And that's always really entertaining.
Okay. Interesting.
You may agree.
I need a guy 20 years younger than me telling me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's more for I think entertainment purposes than it is like, oh, this guy's seen some stuff.
I tell you what, he was good. That was the last really good ESPN show.
I agree with you.
Was
on
Van
that.
Pelt and Russillo.
Oh man,
that was as good as you. That was as good a radio as you have. I mean, Dan Patrick's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Cowherd's good as well.
Yes.
And there are some good ESPN guys, and gals, excuse me, but certainly, man, Russillo and Van Pelt, or Van Pelt and Russillo, or what was it called? I don't even know.
SVP and Russillo.
Yeah, that's it. They were so good.
And SVP has a podcast now, too.
Oh, well, I need to, listen, I'm slowly getting up.
You got to get into the podcast game. I can't get on you because you're going to bring up 5 Netflix shows that I haven't watched. And,
I am getting better at the podcast, though. I do the Dateline. Like, if I got a long drive, I just listen to a Dateline, which is so funny that I do that. If that doesn't just tell you how old I am. But I also I'll listen to Jeremy and those guys and Wagner and those guys and you when you're doing Illini Inquirer stuff. And every once in a while, I actually listened to a fantasy football podcast. Can I say one thing? And this is the pot calling the kettle black. You know how I turn everything into humor, essentially, and people probably listen to the show sometimes and just be like, Lon, shut up and let Derek explain what the schedule is, the non-con schedule for Illinois, which we're going to do in a minute. So I'm listening to these fantasy podcasts, and the first 10 minutes are just guys just making really dumb jokes. And I'm like, can you just get to it? Just tell me, should I draft Rashee Rice in the 12th round? That's all I want to know. I don't care about, you had a hot dog and it fell out, but I picked it up and I put it back in the bun and nobody knew. And, I'm just sitting there like, no, dude, get to it. So then I halfway through my rant to myself, I was like, Lon, that's you. That's you. And I'm doing it right now. So I'm going to shut up.
No.
I did pull up an obscure website, and it has the story behind Aaron Rodgers' path from beloved NFL star to most polarizing player. I take that as a sign that he's going to have a good year. So you're in good shape.
I think he will.
I do too.
I think he will.
I do too.
But yeah, let's get to the non-conference release today for Illini basketball. Still waiting on. We know the conference in terms of the balance of who you play home and home, only on the road, only at home, those type of things. But as far as the dates and all the TV stuff, the times, that's yet to come out. But the dates are in line for the non-con. For the 3rd year in a row, Illinois and EIU, don't call it a rivalry. They will open up the season at State Farm Center. This time, November 4th is the season opener for college hoops. That is a Monday against the EIU Panthers.
Okay.
Marty Simmons' squad will be coming to town. Then you got SIUE that week. Oakland will return as well.
Okay.
Greg Campy. That team, not that it was a sweaty game or anything. It was a decent challenge for Illinois early in the season against a mid-major foe.
He's a good coach.
They beat 3-seed Kentucky in the NCAA tournament last year.
Yeah.
Now, they did lose Trey Townsend, their 4-man transferred to Arizona. And then Jack Golke, the Mr. 3-point specialist, is out of eligibility to the joy of anybody thinking that they could get beat by Oakland this upcoming year. Not to say that would be out of Greg Campy's ability because he's a very good coach.
What did he do against Illinois, that 3-point guy?
I don't think he did much. I think they kind of held him down.
I wasn't sure. I'm sorry to make you look at a box score. I wasn't sure if you knew offhand. That is one of those stories that occurs every year in March Madness, and that's what makes March Madness incredible. Even if you had Kentucky going on pretty deep in the tournament or whatever, and I'm sure if you were that person, you weren't very excited about him hitting 15 threes or whatever it was. But, man, those little things like that, and especially when it happens against Kentucky, or a team like that, then it's a wonderful thing to watch.
Yeah, if we ask Orlando Antigua about him, I think he'd have a different viewpoint. He had 10 threes in that game. It was 10 threes. He was 10 for 20 from 3 against Kentucky, 32 points, and they beat the Wildcats 80-76. Illinois beat them 64-53 last year. Now, it was a 1-point game at halftime, and Oakland was actually leading with 10 minutes to go in that game. But Jack Golke was 2 for 6 from 3, only had 6 points.
Wow.
So they really limited his attempts.
Damask shut him down.
I forget who was guard. Maybe it was Damask that was on him.
Because doesn't he go underneath a little bit, Golke? Or no, maybe not. Maybe not. Not when you tell me he shot it 20 times from the outside.
Yeah, and that one he obviously didn't.
He's a pretty big guy, I thought.
6'3", 215.
Yeah, so I don't. Well, 6'3" is not very big.
Let's see how many. Just for fun, we can go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You know how many 2-point field goal attempts he took all year?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. How many 2
I'll tell you how many threes, and then you tell me how many. twos.
Okay.
364 threes.
I bet he took 80. 2 points.
Take the 0 off.
8?
8.
Well, never mind that he goes down underneath. Goodness sakes.
He took 8 2-point field goals, 364 threes.
Holy
that guy's living the dream, just chucking threes.
Wow.
Making enough of them, though.
Hey.
So after Oakland, maybe the game of the year. Now, it's early enough in the season, so obviously you get into February and those type of games. We'll talk about a non-con game in February, as rare as that is and as unorthodox as that sounds. But at Alabama, now it's not in Tuscaloosa, it's in Birmingham, so technically it's like a semi-neutral game. I mean, it's an Alabama crowd for sure. But CBS Sports, I was looking up today when I wrote this article about the non-conference slate, number 2 in the country on CBS as of right now. I imagine that's going to be, there'll be either preseason number 1 or number 2, I would imagine, going into the year, and catching them within the first couple weeks of the season. A Final Four team last year that brought back Mark Sears, their best guard, Grant Nelson, their 4-man. They get Cliff Amori from Rutgers as their 5.
Wait, didn't we play him last year with a different team as well?
Amori was at Rutgers last year.
Oh, he still was around. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking he had. Okay, I must be thinking of him going there. Okay, all right. Well,
so that's November 20th.
Okay.
Then you get a couple home games: Maryland Eastern Shore, Arkansas Little Rock.
Oh boy!
Right before Thanksgiving, and then speaking of Thanksgiving, Arkansas in Kansas City, as we know.
Yes.
Right after the Bears and Lions game, Arkansas preseason. If you look at CBS Sports, they are in the top 15, 13th.
Wow.
CBS is top 25-1. You're going to play 4 teams that are in the top 25-1 just in your non-conference schedule. Alabama is number 2. Duke is number 9. I'll mention them here shortly. Arkansas 13th. Tennessee 14th.
Man.
So there is a gap here in the non-conference. You're going to build in a couple of those early Big Ten games. December 14th, hosting Tennessee.
Are they, hold on, in Kansas City, are they playing it there at that Hall of Fame place downtown? Like, you've been there, haven't you? Didn't you cover a game there once?
I didn't go to that little there was an MTE there.
Oh.
And Illinois played Kansas State.
Okay.
And they played Cincinnati as well. I wasn't at that one. I think I remember what came up there, but
we went to a little bar next to it to eat lunch and have a cold one, and the Hall of Fame was right across that state or that arena and such. So I wonder if that's where they're playing. It doesn't matter.
I would imagine so.
Okay. SEC heavy this year.
Yeah.
Well,
you get Tennessee. I mean, note of the SEC. You get Tennessee on that return game, home and home last year in Knoxville. You lost by 8, I think, 7 or 8.
Sounds about right.
Competitive game, tough environment. Dalton Connect and that squad. They went to the Elite 8 just like Illinois. Now you get a chance to see the Vols without Dalton, but still a very good Tennessee team.
Will the kids be here for that game?
I don't think so.
Okay. So that two-prong, number one, I hate that when they're not because it helps with the environment. But number 2, if you're someone like me that doesn't get maybe season tickets to Illinois basketball, that could be one that you kind of target to go to. Maybe you spend a little bit more money because you're not going to all of them and spending all this money. Maybe you target that game without the kids there that you have a chance to get pretty good seats.
Yeah.
So just a thought to everybody out there.
Now, I do think that students might get an opportunity to buy those games. Like, it'll be considered a break game. I know sometimes we have this where it's finals week, but because it's a break game, they don't get as many allotment of seats in case they want to stay.
Got it.
But I would hope that there would be a decent amount of the Orange Crush that maybe says, I'm going to take my finals, hang out in Champaign a few extra days to be able to go to that game and have a real legit State Farm Center environment for that game. Not to say that without it they wouldn't. A few years ago, I'm trying to remember, maybe somebody out there on the text line can set me straight, the Arizona game.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a big-time matchup, big-time environment. I don't know. That might have been a break game too. Although it was sold out. It was raucous. It was a close game down to the wire. So I'm not saying that even if the Crush aren't there at full strength, it still can't be a buzzing place.
That's interesting. And nothing personal to Jan and Neil, mom and dad, but after my freshman year, I really wasn't in a big hurry to get home. So that, to me, the students should want to, then you got the built-in excuse. It's like, Mom, it's not like that I don't want to see you, but we paid a lot of money for this Illinois-Tennessee game, man. And I don't want to just throw that away.
Exactly.
There you go. There's your excuse.
And my birthday's the day before, so there'll be a big bash at Kyle's apartment.
Oh. Spilling over into the next day.
Let's go. How I'm going to write my preview and go to the press conference. I don't know.
I go to bed at 8.
Bridge.
I fall asleep at 8. I wake up to go to the bathroom at 1. You guys are hot and heavy into college football. I go back to bed. I get up at 5 because I'm now awake to get up for the day, and you guys are just now finishing your 35th college football game. And I'm like, oh, you guys just now going to bed?
Yeah, we're already in our 3rd season, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's amazing how much you can miss when you get old.
It's crazy. No matter how many years go by, you can continue to see the bragging rights game, December 22nd in St. Louis against Dennis Gates and company. They did not win an SEC game last year. They were really, really, really bad. I don't know what their roster's admittedly looking like this year in terms of much hope to get better. I wouldn't think they'd be as bad as last year, but I'd have to do my research on that. That's where in prior seasons you're like, oh, that's always a slip-up, tricky game for Brown Underwood and company. They've won the last couple. So,
boy, Missouri's been bad a few times.
They have been bad.
Isn't that funny? We were talking the other day about how Missouri football kind of took off, right? Was that with Jay? Was that yesterday with Jay?
We were talking that with Jay yesterday.
And then it seems like their basketball program has kind of – what day is it? That's like a – what day is that again? Like a Sunday or something?
Yeah. It's December 22nd. Let's look that up real quick.
I was thinking that was a Sunday.
That is a Sunday. Yep.
And what time?
I don't see a time.
Oh,
yet.
Okay. It's no worries.
That might be out there somewhere. You are competing with the NFL.
Oh, that's true. Well, my youngest made it clear to somebody the other day that he's never been to a bragging rights game. Because somebody was like, well, Andrew, I'm assuming with your dad you've been to a bragging rights game. And he's like, nope, he's never taken me. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks, Andrew. Because your life just is so bad.
Well, he's been playing basketball here recently.
He's always busy.
He got a lot of time conflicts. Didn't you buy him ticket? You bought him season tickets to Illinois.
It was my fault.
Here recently, and he couldn't go to half the games,
No, it was his freshman year, and I didn't know. He didn't play much, but he dressed varsity. And just all of a sudden, like I think there were 4, maybe not even, but I think 4 home games that didn't conflict with his high school. And I was like, that was a really good move, Lon. That was money well spent, buddy.
Well, Andrew, cut your pop some slack for that.
Yeah, please. Yeah. He's not.
Although I will say bragging rights is a good time.
I agree. I'm with you on that. Maybe he and I'll do a father-son trip. It would be fun.
It would be.
Be fun.
Would be. Maybe Ballpark Village before or after, or both. Chicago State, Illinois will return after Christmas break. That will be December 29th. And then their final non-con game, February 22nd in New York City against the Dukies.
Man, there's not really an in-between game, is there? Nothing against the Maryland Eastern Shores of the world, but it's almost as though, all right, we're going to win by 25 here, and then we play the 3rd-ranked team in the country.
Exactly. Maybe Oakland's that team.
Yeah, that's a good
that
call.
In between.
That's a good call.
We'll see how they fill out some of that roster that they lose Goldie, they lose Townsend, but
Oakland's a great call.
Other than them.
Of course, there's 15 then of those games in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Who will be, in your estimation, well, I guess the rankings are out, right? Illinois was ranked
not the AP rankings,
not the
but kind
AP.
of the preseason, whether you got ESPN, CBS.
Is Illinois ranked?
They are not in the CBS top 25.
Okay. Is there any other Big Ten teams? I would assume Purdue.
If you look, yeah. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Right,
Whether they
right,
deserve
right,
it or
right.
not, that's going to be a question that people are going to have different opinions on. If you look at CBS Sports' rankings, you get the first Big Ten team down at 12 is Matt Painter's Boilermakers.
Okay.
After that, you go to 15th. He's got Ohio State. Wow, that seems high.
Didn't they get a couple in the portal, though?
They did. Michie Johnson actually going back, pulling the old, I was at Ohio State, I went to South Carolina, I went back to Ohio State.
Interesting.
So a guard there that's going to team up with Bruce Thornton, good player.
Yeah, he is. Bruce Thornton's really good. Can I hot take a little bit a Purdue thing?
Yeah.
Please, if you're wondering, like, Zach Edey is gone. I hope people understand how much he meant to that team. He was the player of the year 2 straight years. You don't just all of a sudden throw in another 7'3" guy and you're that good. Like, so those that are just sitting there and their first defense with Purdue is, well, but they've got another 7-footer. Yeah, okay, but they don't have Zach Edey.
Exactly.
We've got Jaxtus. He's not 7 foot. I don't think he's like 6'10". Nothing against that kid. Poor
Well, you
guy.
guys don't have Kofi anymore. Yeah, but we got Jason Jaxtus.
Yeah, so I don't understand why you think that's going to be a. I know their guards are good.
Yeah,
and I know
especially Braden Smith.
He's really good, but his numbers should go down, right? I mean, his assist numbers should go down a little bit without having a 7'4" guy to just throw it up to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking anything away from Smith. He's really good. Everybody in the country would love to have him as your point guard. He's really good. He's competitive. He plays great defense. He's heady. He makes the right pass. He can shoot. He can go on runs. He does a lot of things. And you know what? He's got a little bit of that blank you attitude that you love,
I
right?
like it.
You hate it when you go against him, but you sit there and go, dude, man, he's not going to lose this game. Like, he is by himself saying we are not losing this game. Now, the other guard,
Fletcher Lawyer,
is the one that drives me nuts. I think he will not have that great of a year. I think he got the benefit of Zach Edey more than almost anybody because they could not, with Lance Jones there, with Smith being able, you're not going to double team Smith. There's no way. He's going around, whatever. But Lawyer, they'd kind of fall off of him a little bit.
Yeah.
Not all the way because he can shoot. Don't get me wrong. He's a dead-eye shooter. I think he'll have a little bit of a down year this year.
He won't have nearly as many open three-point looks because all the kickouts that you do, Zach Edey, they double, then he kicks out to Lawyer, those type of things. It will be, and there will be, like to your point, maybe there'll be even more on Smith's plate to create those breakdowns and like, oh, we got to send attention towards him to open up other guys. We'll see if he can do that. I'm like you and Kyle's voices as well, very high on Braden Smith, a little questionable on Lawyer post Zach Edey.
Yeah. And I still think Purdue will be good.
I agree.
Matt Painter is one of the best coaches in the country. You have 2 good guards to start your team, and if I don't care what you give me from there, you're going to be solid because of that. But I hope people understand that just because you're throwing another 7-footer in there. Now, I could be totally wrong. I can look back in, January or February or look back to August and say, wow, was I really – but, of course, I'd be like, wow, it was just something else I said that was dumb. But Zach Edey is in a class by himself.
Right. Big time. There's no other Zach Edey.
I mean, Kofi was amazing, and Zach was two-time player of the year in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, and Kofi, though, was All-American, so it's not like he was – I don't know. I just think I can't wait to see how Zach does in the NBA.
I'm with you.
All right, so Purdue's 12, Ohio State 15.
Indiana 18.
Okay.
I think I would have Indiana ahead of those two.
I'm with you.
As far as a roster standpoint goes. Now, as much faith as I have in Matt Painter, I am a lot more skeptical on Mike Woodson, and a lot of people out there would agree.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of answers at guard. They finally went out and got Miles Rice to be able to play point guard for them.
Right.
And certainly Omar Ballo now at the 5 with Renew. We'll see how it goes playing 2 bigs. If they want to play smaller, they can, and maybe slide Goody in there on the wing and play Mbako at the 4 and Renew at the 5, those type of things. But they got depth, they got talent, and we'll see if Woodsy can coach them up.
Renew is good.
Really good.
There were games where Khalil Ware was really good, but there were games where Renew just took over. And, I mean, he's solid. Yeah, Lance, I agree with you. Max Twin City Recycling, they're not Edie, but they do have a 7'4 freshman and a 7'2 sophomore. Can't teach that. I agree. I just think the difference between that 7'4 freshman or that 7'2 sophomore and Zach Edey will be telling. Now, I could be wrong. Again, I could be totally wrong. And I don't mean to make this a Purdue thing. Jimmy's probably like, oh, now you're talking Purdue? I think one thing that will help Matt Painter and Purdue is the sense that these guys have watched how they ran an offense. The guys playing understand how they ran an offense through someone that size. So they don't have to all of a sudden say, hey, guys, I want to introduce you to your 7'2 center. We're going to try to incorporate him this year as opposed to just shooting from the outside. I mean, so they have an idea of how to run that system. But Zach Edey was just a different. I mean, he
wasn't
so
just
good.
tall, which I know there was the whole some people are arguing that he's not that good. He's just a mammoth.
Oh.
But you can be 7'2" and not be a great post player.
Exactly.
And
you
not
can,
have
you
good
can get
touch
pushed out.
or not. Yeah, you can get pushed out because you don't have the physicality and strength. I mean, he was just a wall.
He was.
Also, speaking of which, he could. How do you get through that screen?
Oh, well, you don't. You go through his legs. You go underneath.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
Why didn't we come up with that?
And I know Lance knows basketball better than I do, even. So I get what he's saying, but yeah, I mean, Edey could. How many points did Edey have at the free throw line alone?
Oh yeah.
And I know that was.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
But he had that touch, and he could make those turnarounds, and he was
offensive rebounds was ridiculous.
I just think that, I almost feel bad for the 7'2 and 7'4 guys at Purdue now. Now, I'm not saying they can't grow into really good players, but if people are going to compare them next year, I don't think you're in for a long year.
Now, if Matt Painter somehow, I hesitate to even say the next Zach Edey because I don't think there will be a next Zach Edey, but another just ridiculously tall, dominant post player, then he's got something figured out.
He does, and I'll put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
I'll eat crow for that one.
Yeah. Lastly, I think this will get you going and some texters going.
Oh, boy.
23rd on CBS Sports' list. People might know this guy that put the list together. Gary Parrish.
Yeah.
That's going to get people even mad that I brought it up. Rutgers, 23rd. Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. Now, those guys are
really good.
If you look at 24/7's rankings, they were number 2 and number 3 in the country overall in that class, only behind Cooper Flagg. You might have heard of him.
Yeah.
So we're talking projected lottery picks.
So Illinois is going to play the top 3 guys.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg,
Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper. 1 and then 2 and 3.
I watched highlights of Ace Bailey one time. Andrew had it on and I'm like, who's that kid? And he goes, he's going to Rutgers. I'm like, oh. And I said, is that the Harper kid? He doesn't look like. He goes, no, it's the Bailey kid. I was like, oh, I don't know him. And about 5 minutes later, I was mesmerized watching him. He is so good.
He is, yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to disagree with Gary here.
Yeah,
what else do they have?
That's the thing. Jeremiah Williams, they bring him back, the point guard, at one time committed to Illinois.
Oh, that's right.
And then
I was like, why do I know that name?
Yep. Other than that, they added some transfers from some lower level schools. I would take maybe an exception with Rutgers. I think you could obviously make an argument for Illinois with more depth.
Yes.
They have some high-end talent like a Will Riley, like a Kaspar Shakachonis. Are they comparable to Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper? On paper right now, they would say Rutgers has the edge.
I would agree.
In the 2 versus 2. I think Illinois has more depth of talent. And I think that obviously if the talent plays up to even just a reasonable expectation of what they could be, Illinois should be a top 25 team.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge problem with them if they do go unranked going into the season. I've made this argument before. It helps. Maybe Brad Underwood finally wins a Big Ten Coach of the Year because they don't have
that's a great
a ranking next to their name going into the year. But, yeah, it's interesting because it's a balance of talent versus literally no continuity prior to this year and little experience.
Let me ask you this. You said 2-on-2. Who was the guy for Illinois? I can't say his name. KJ.
Yakachonis, yeah.
That dude and Riley going up against Baldwin and Harper. You give the edge probably to Baldwin and Harper. But if that is anything close to a push, who's the guy that puts Illinois over the edge? Is it Boswell?
Yeah, I would say it's Boswell.
I think so too. Ivisic has a lot to show me. Who am I forgetting?
Merez is plenty talented, but he's a freshman.
I love Merez. I think Boswell puts you
Humrickhouse.
Maybe Humrickhouse
comes in and shoots the lights out.
Maybe Humrickhouse. Man, could he be like that South Dakota dude that came and played on our CBI or whatever that was? Not
Mike
CBI.
Dom.
Yes.
What is that?
How good was he?
TBT.
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Do you remember watching that? And you used your connections and pulled out the interviews with the dude that went to Virginia Tech or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we ended up. LaTulip was coaching that team.
Yeah,
so that's how we linked up with Mike LaTulip and
texted him and got. Yeah, that was a fun day.
Yeah, Kyle Vanalis. I don't even remember where he went to. Like he had a big bucket in that game against the.
I was thinking Virginia Tech.
Carmen's crew.
Yes.
So they beat Ohio State.
And Dimitri.
And Dimitri was on Carmen's crew. I was supposed to be Aaron Kraft's last game.
Yes.
I was all in on that.
That made it personal.
It was one of the first sports to come back post-COVID.
Yes, it was.
I think European soccer was first, and then TBT was around the time that like baseball was finally going to start their season.
Well, and we talk about it all the time, and it just goes to show you again. Illinois fans are such great fans. I'm telling you, Illinois fans we can be grumpy, we can do all that stuff, but man, if you ever threaten us, we come together like, and it's like, here we are, go ahead.
Yep.
What do you got?
Yep.
You better bring it to beat what we've got. Like if it was a war, we would all come together. Like it wouldn't matter. It's like, but even that, Illinois fans were just nuts on that stuff.
They were.
That is so cool too. I love being part of that fan base. This fan base deserves a national championship more than any fan base out there, in my mind.
Hard to argue against it.
And man, we've been close. Do you think, man, we're getting way out of hand here. Do you think a national title in 89 or 05, let's just say 05, because that's more of your, do you think winning the national title that year would have slowed, if you will, the hunger of Illinois fans, the compassion, or do you think it just would ratchet it up?
It'd probably fuel it.
I think you're right. Now
there would be,
to someone like me, it would validate it.
Yeah.
Like, right, I've said that story before. When the Arizona Cardinals finally went to the Super Bowl, it kind of validated to me of not being the dumbest idiot in the room that everybody made fun of, because I was an Arizona Cardinal fan. They're like, that guy's they've never even been to the playoffs in his life.
Right.
But when they went to the Super Bowl, it was and it was a good game. It was almost as though I could walk with a little more pride with an Arizona Cardinal gear on, right? So for Illinois, I still walk with pride if I'm in Florida or wherever. But I think a national title, to me, as just me personally, would just validate that we are truly one of the best programs in the country. And I think we are anyway. But I think that would at least, if I'm sitting at a bar in St. Pete Beach arguing college basketball with guys, and I could then lean back on an 89 title or an 05, especially 05 now, because nobody remembers 89. We're all so old. Like the people I'd be arguing with 89, they'd be like, well, who was that again? What was that team? But I just think it would validate for me. I don't know that it would make me any hungrier. It would actually probably make me content a little bit.
I think it would add to some of that for sure.
Yeah.
Now, would the way the program then declined and hit the depths of late Bruce Weber, John Gross, like, would you be any less angry coming off a national title?
No.
Probably not, because you would have taken that next step to the very top of the mountaintop and then fell all the way down. Like, I think you look at Indiana. Indiana has experienced plenty of the highs of it. Now, of course, you got people like me who weren't alive when Bob Knight was winning national titles. So, like, you're going to start getting generations of like, well, I heard about the 85 Bears, but I didn't experience it.
Exactly.
So, but the hunger to get back to that would be there. I do think, though, because people that lived the title could, number one, go to the table, like you said, in a bar, online, anything. One of the things that I think the fans of Blue Bloods or an Indiana fan or somebody out there that wants to talk down to Illinois is, well, you guys have never won a title.
Yeah, it's like Cardinals fans with Cubs fans.
You couldn't use that against Illinois, or like when Arizona wants to sling mud at Illinois, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you go to Illinois, they haven't won anything.
You guys haven't won anything. No, and that's true.
At least you'd have that.
And they're right.
Or when you were when Myers Leonard's crying on the bench in Nebraska, you'd like take out your little championship shield. Like, I feel like Bears fans, if you lived the 85 Bears, it's just like, oh yeah, but 85. It's your little shield.
Best defense ever.
It's your little security blanket. It doesn't feel right me putting it on. I didn't see it. Like, I don't have it.
It's funny watching Derek do it because he actually crouches down into a shield.
You can actually see it on the YouTube stream right now.
That's funny.
Pull out my championship shield.
When Myers is crying. Oh, man.
That was a very low point.
I'm telling you, that is a day that will, like, I remember exactly where I was. I was at a Buffalo Wild Wings down in Alton, Illinois. I'll never forget that because we had a travel basketball tournament, and we were all in a B-dubs, and I I was leading the nation in sports trivia that night. Like, I was like, this dude from the bartender comes up and he goes, "Are you guys playing? Are you the I don't remember what my name was." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, you've got us number one in the," and I'm like, well, there must not be many people playing because I'm not that good at trivia, but for some reason, every question was right in my wheelhouse. But that's so funny. I remember watching that game and seeing a close-up of Myers crying. And I'm like, how far do we need to fall here with, I don't know.
How much further can you fall?
Right. And man, wasn't that Jeremy Richmond too?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was Bruce's final season.
That was it. Yeah, that was the icing on the cake, if you will, of, okay, we're done. We're done with this. We need to move on to the next step. But that, I didn't mean to go like all deep dive there on
good.
I just have always wondered like what fan base, I'm surprised, honestly, we don't have anybody texting in.
I'd like to hear from some texters, 217-359-2255. Max Twin City Recycling text line. What would a national title would have done? What would it have done for just the psyche of the fan base? Right. Would you have been more content? Would you have been less angry when it fell down? Would you be even more angry, more fueled by it, more hungry because you tasted it once and then you'd want to get it again? I'd be curious what the insights would be out there.
I agree, 100%.
We are definitely due for a break. We'll be back to get to your texts. It is The Drive.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club?
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Be
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on-site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Attention all truck drivers looking for a new opportunity with great pay and amazing benefits? Gale Frericks Trucking has got you covered. Join their team, receive a $4,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $4,000 just for coming on board. Plus, enjoy a $1,200 gross weekly pay guarantee. Drive their state-of-the-art Freightliner Cascadia trucks equipped with a revolutionary system designed to reduce weight and downtime. Get home every weekend and some nights during the week with paid vacations and holidays. They offer company-sponsored health insurance and all the benefits you deserve. Regional drivers get first priority. Don't wait. Apply in person at Dedicated Diesel, 1313 Triumph Drive, Urbana, or call Tim at 765-505-1295. That's 765-505-1295. Start your journey today with Gale Frericks Trucking.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. We're flooring people.
Join Fighting Illini football as they kick off the 100th anniversary season in Memorial Stadium on Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m. versus Eastern Illinois. Start your Labor Day weekend early with the whole family. Enjoy the family fun zone in Grange Grove, plus fireworks in the stadium. Great seats available for as low as $15 for the Illinois football home opener, Thursday, August 29th. Get tickets at fightingillini.com.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window. New roofing and siding are a winning combination that can instantly change the look, feel, and function of your home. Our Kramer Siding and Window team takes pride in being an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred contractor, able to offer a best-in-the-business 50-year warranty. Pair it with preservation siding in your favorite style and color, and your home will be a showstopper. Start today and save 10% on roofing and 25% on siding. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circus Sports is now available in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I've been a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited that the Circus Sports app is now ready for action. Experience big app bets with high betting limits, tight money line splits, and more. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he has a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola. When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is right here in Champaign-Urbana to help you select the right protection at the right price. Kurt will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Your favorite Mexican restaurant, El Toro on West Springfield in Champaign, is still open 7 days a week despite the construction on West Springfield. If you're craving those mouthwatering Mexican dishes, just enter from the east. When you see the barricade at Springfield and Kenwood, look for their special driveway. It'll guide you straight to El Toro. El Toro will be serving up your favorites all through the construction for the next 5 months. Open daily and ready to welcome you. El Toro, your destination for authentic Mexican cuisine, even during construction.
We asked the text line to weigh in, and they delivered.
They did.
Let's get to those on the Max Twin City Recycling text line. 217 says if Atlanta had won a national championship, I'm concerned that Lon would have become prideful and stopped waving at everyone and asking them how they're doing. He no longer would have been a world changer.
I'd just be happy. I'd be like, oh, that poor guy doesn't know how to park. I should go help him. I should go knock on the door and say, hey, I can back your car into a spot. I like what's the difference between Marty McFly and the Chicago Bears fans? Eventually, Marty McFly quit going back to 1985.
That's mean. That's mean. Hey, we got Caleb Williams now, so.
Wouldn't you love to be Biff? Is Biff like the one guy you wish you could be? Because he had the magazine.
He did have the magazine.
That picked every winner. Would that not make you the coolest dude in the world? Like somebody in California is like, have you heard about that guy in Illinois that is like, he's hit like every NFL game this year? Like, how in the world is that even possible? You'd have to win big early because then casinos and sites would be like, something's going on.
Hunting you down,
right?
Man.
Exactly. You'd have to figure out how to win, but you'd have to pick the biggest upset ever. Like Russia, United States, in the Olympics,
Sure.
You'd almost have to do that and bet like, I don't know, take a loan out for like $500,000 and bet it. Just say, I promise I'll pay you back. Yeah, right.
I like that. Maxwell says old Bruce's tenure as a coach would have lasted much longer if they won a title in 2005. We probably would have never gotten a Gross era, and Underwood wouldn't be here. Interesting. Bruce already got a nice little runway. Even though he didn't win a title, still took them to the national title game.
No, I agree.
I'm not saying that he's wrong. I just don't know how much longer you could have went with Bruce with the way that things went downhill.
Yeah, you could just tell. Bruce. He was almost his own worst enemy, right? But he is a great guy.
Scott, I think he has a good point. Same as he did for the Cubs, fan pressure over for a long time.
People will say that one day about me. They'll be like, well, Lon, he wasn't really that good on the radio. He's a great guy, though.
Great guy.
Like, that's the way.
It is like the thing that people
you throw
would
that
say,
out to just kind of like, I'm going to bash Lon for like 10 minutes about his skills, but he's a good dude. Yeah.
But you are good at this, obviously. I used to get mad at that. I know we want to sneak in some football audio here to get you up to speed on training camp. Maybe I shouldn't even say anything. We'll just do it.
Yeah, we'll just do it.
Real quick. when I was more brash and younger and wanting things to change for Illinois on both sides, I'd be like, let's stop hiring nice guys. I heard for a long time, Ron Turner, great guy. Yeah, well, you know what? Winning 2 games in the season, not great. Bruce Weber, great guy. Well, things have been post-2005 for enough years now.
Ron Zook was a good guy, but you had to know him.
Yeah, I heard about, certain coaches involved in the community and this kind of I don't think Zook was one of those dudes,
wasn't
right?
He wasn't. He'd rather be water skiing.
Now, when things don't go your way, there's less backing for people to stand up for you. Be like, oh, yeah, give him one more year.
That's exactly right. No, you're exactly right.
Anyways.
And I think Brad Underwood and Brett Bielema are both good guys, but they also have a little bit of an edge to them.
They do.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
If you ran into either one of those guys in the middle of Champaign on a random Sunday afternoon, they're going to be great guys. They're going to visit with you. But there is a little bit of an edge to them that I like. And I think I'm not saying they're the perfect coach, but they're close to it in terms of having that hunger to win while also being able to understand that you've got to play to the fan base too.
Of course.
Because, we as ticket holders, et cetera, are kind of the lifeblood of it. So I think Josh has done a pretty good mix there and Shauna Green too. I'd throw her into that. Now, Shauna Green is probably one of the nicest people you'd ever meet, to be honest with you. So, but Lon Kruger
you also hear a lot about Shauna being very competitive.
Yes.
And I think she's got a hunger about her, too.
She's got a fire to her.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
Certainly. A lot of things.
Dan Hartlib, just a jerk. Oh, I hope he's listening. He's not.
Oh, man.
Maybe somebody that talks to him regularly can just. All right, that are all just
Hartlib's going to talk. He's going to come to Andrew and be like, man, we love your arm. We think we can really develop you. We just don't want to deal with the parental stuff, We saw what happens with Brad sometimes. You get a bad mom or dad. It's distractions.
We just can't do it, Andrew. You're going to have to go somewhere else.
I'm just messing around, of course.
Oh, that's classic.
Character and characteristics certainly in play and being considered when you're talking about team captains. Ooh. Tanner Arkin.
Yeah.
Tight end, now going to have a much bigger role with Cole Rusk being out. He spoke to the media recently after being...
Must be vocal?
Maybe. I admittedly have said, I don't know what Tanner Arkin's like in a locker room in comparison to what Luke Altmaier is and why maybe Tanner gets the nod for a captain and Luke doesn't. So let's hear from Tanner on that selection and admittedly for myself to get a better feel on the former Colorado State tight end. He's been here now for his second year and going to be one of your team captains going into this season. So here is Tanner Arkin.
What would it mean to you to get voted team captain by your peers?
It was awesome. I think it's one of the biggest honors you can receive, being on a team, especially a football team, have many guys that trust you to lead the team and respect what you do. It was a huge honor, and it was awesome.
Coming in here a year and a half ago, how did you become a leader of the team? How did that happen?
Yeah, I think everybody's got their own way of being a leader. I wouldn't consider myself the most vocal guy, but I think I try to lead by example through what I do on the field and off the field, being a transfer. This year I tried to, make those one-on-one impacts with guys, not just new guys, but, everybody on the team, make them feel, welcome coming in. Like I was welcomed here, and I just tried to, make those little impacts and do the best I can every day.
Now that you are a captain, do you feel the need to be a little more vocal?
Yeah, I feel like I'm always going to be growing my leadership skills, and I think that's something I do need to work on. But just like I said, doing what I do good, as a leader, but also leading these guys, and I will need to be vocal and light a fire, and that needs to happen, and just lead the way and be the best version of myself and be the best captain and leader I can.
What did you learn from Tip about taking that leadership baton, and what did you learn from him about doing that in your room?
Yeah, I learned a lot from Tip. You know, he was a great leader. He kind of, you know, brought me in, like I said, and welcomed me. And he had tremendous character. You know, he carried himself to a high standard on and off the field. And I think I learned from him in that aspect, you know, and all how you do one thing is how you do everything kind of thing. And I try to be that every day, you know, whether I'm on the field or in the classroom or everywhere, you know, just try to respect people how I'd want to be respected. And yeah.
How is training camp going for the tight end room? And do you guys feel like you're an integral part of Coach Lenny's offense?
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's making strides to get better every day, and I think numbers haven't been there at some points, but we've been, you know, trying to pick up the slack wherever that need be, and just do whatever Coach Lenny and our coaches ask us to do the best of our abilities.
With Cole's injury, what's that meant to the group, the guys behind you, and how do you guys try and, I wouldn't say replace him, but make up for that loss?
Yeah, I think it kind of just pushes everybody to be better, you know. When a guy goes down, it just means everybody's got to step up, just be the better version of themselves they can, and not try to be anything else, not trying to, you know, do anything crazy, but just do what you do and do it to the best of your ability.
Is that maybe the most important thing, Tanner, is that you kind of got voted captain because you are who you are, just because now you get named captain, you don't really have to change who you are?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I said, I hope the guys just see that I'm consistent and I am the same guy every day, like I was talking about, and just emphasized those things. And also, as a captain and leader, I think it just emphasizes that you need to be there for your guys no matter what. You know, if I'm having a bad day, that doesn't matter. I gotta pick myself up, or other guys pick me up, because I gotta lead the team and hold a high standard for myself and everybody around me.
My mic's not on.
There we go.
Good
I was like, wait, I don't
Tanner
hear
Arkin.
you.
Here you go.
It's funny. He's like, I'm not a big vocal guy. But you know what? It's so intriguing that position, to me, I'm not going to overstate this. I mean, the tight end position has never been one that has led Illinois to a Big Ten title. Let's be honest.
It's not your safeties group.
No. But it does worry me that with an offense that could be explosive, and Jay Lehman mentioned that yesterday, it's almost so predictable at tight end. Almost like, all right, Arkin and Boyer are in. They're two big guys that don't really catch much, so I'm assuming they're going to run the football. But I think it's going to allow Lunny and Bielema, especially Lunny, to play a little bit more with maybe not the 12 set. You know, what am I trying to say?
Two tight ends.
Yeah, maybe now you're adding another receiver out there